Okay, hello everyone. Today we're going to do a 30-minute class for inversions for vinyasa. And we're going to work a bit on forearm balancing and some of its variations, all in the context of, yoga practice. So I want to start, make sure you've got a block. You need something like a block. A raised object is good. A block will work quite well. We're going to start working on some just core stability stuff, which is what we always do. And I want to just do a forearm plank. So put your forearms on the floor, extend the legs, and we're going to hold forearm plank for about 30 seconds. So protract the scapula, push up through the center of the chest, press the heels to the back, pulling the stomach muscles. Feel like you're tucking the pelvis a little bit so you're not sticking your bum up in the air. Try and make a nice long straight line from the shoulders right to the heels, and then hold it. Run out of the 15 seconds. Keep the stomach in tight and breathe through the nose and out through the nose. Inversion is a lot about stability and creating, a stable shape. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put your knees down. Now come onto your hands. I'm going to do just a little bit to work on the scapular movement. So we're going to do a scapular shrug. You can think of it as. There's two movements of the scapula we're going to look at. One is where you protract the scapula, which is to try and push the shoulder blades apart, and one is when you try and squeeze them together like this. Or if you see from the back, protractions like this, and retractions where you squeeze them together like this. Okay? So protraction and retraction. We're going to do that on all fours. Just do it 5 times to start. So I want to inhale, protract the scapula, and exhale, retract them, squeeze the shoulder blades. Inhale, protract the scapula, push them apart, and exhale, retract them, squeeze them together. Good inhale, protract the scapula, push them apart. Good exhale, squeeze them together. Inhale, protract. So push up through the center of the chest, and exhale, retract. One more. Inhale, protract. And exhale, retract. Now, this can be quite hard to feel it if you don't feel much, not sure what you're doing quite. You can always stay on all fours. You can try in a plank. You're trying to plank, keep the legs nice and straight. You can inhale, protract the scapula, and exhale, retract them, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale, protract the scapula. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, retract them. Inhale, protract. Good. 3, exhale, retract. Inhale, protract. 4, exhale, retract. One more. Inhale, protract. 5, good. Exhale, retract. Good. And then protract the scapula, put the knees down. Okay, now keep a straight line from the knees through the hips to the shoulders. You're not sticking your bum out. Tuck the pelvis, suck the stomach in, take a deep breath and bend the elbows halfway. And then come down and hold it. Make sure you're not dipping the shoulders down or shrugging the shoulders up. Pull the shoulder blades down the back. Don't have to go too low with this. Hold it. 2, pulling the stomach muscles. Last breath through the nose. 1, lie flat on your stomach. Inhale, lift the chest up, come to a little cobra. And then hold the cobra, keep the elbows in, put the shoulders down. Legs extended. Look up through the eyebrows. Breathe by the nose. 1 more breath. Good. Then bring the hips back towards the heels and sit on the heels. Drop the head down, take a breath through the nose in child's pose. Now we're going to do a few sun salutes. Not going to do loads and loads of sun salutes. If you need to any point in the sun salute, do those variations for chaturanga and upward dog. And you can do this for downward dog. If you need to take a break, your shoulders get tired, and they probably will get tired. Take a break whenever you need to, no problem. Okay? Come to all fours position. Curl the toes. Push your hips back on up to downward facing dog. And then step the right foot forward, step the left foot forward to the feet together. Good. Exhale, do a forward bend. Inhale, come all the way up, stretch your arms up. Look at the thumbs. And then exhale, bring the hands to the further side of the feet. Do a forward bend. Inhale, look up. Lengthen the spine, step the right leg back, step the left leg back, come to a plank. Then bend the elbows, chaturanga, knees down is fine. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Then breathe in downward dog a few breaths. So catch your breath, start to create a nice rhythm of the breath. 5 breaths or so. And you can breathe ujjayi breathing if you like to, or breathe a nice slow breath and keep it continuous breath, always through the nose and out through the nose. Press the knuckles down, push the tailbone up, lengthen the spine, and hold it. 1 more breath. Good. Inhale, look up, and you can step or jump the feet forward in between the hands. Exhale, do a forward bend. Inhale, come all the way up, stretch your arms up. 1 breath up. And then exhale all the way down, bring the hands to the further side of the feet, do a forward bend. Inhale, look up and step or jump the legs back to Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then hold that again, about 5 breaths. You can also have the knees bent in down dog and the heels up. You don't think you have to have the legs straight. Over time, of course, as you practice it, you might get more flexible hamstrings and the legs might go straighter. It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed that you'll get super flexible hamstrings. So don't force the legs straight. Just keep the breath going through the nose and out through the nose. And untuck the pelvis, lengthen the spine. One more breath. Good, inhale, look up and then step or jump the feet forward in between the hands. Exhale, do a forward bend. Inhale, come all the way up, shoot your arms up. Good, one breath up. And then exhale all the way down. One breath down, bring the hands to the floor, either side of the feet, do a forward bend. Inhale, look up and step or jump the legs back to chaturanga. A little bit warmer now. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, and then from downward dog, I want you to bend your elbows, try and bring the elbows to the floor. Inhale, straighten the elbows. And bend the elbows, try and bring the elbows to the floor. Inhale, straighten the elbows. Good, bend the elbows and straighten them. And as you bend them, think of trying to keep them in the same line and then straighten. Don't let them flare too wide. Bend and straighten. That's 5. We can do 8. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. That's 7. Last one. Bend the elbows and straighten the elbows and put your knees down on the floor. Okay, grab yourself a block, grab yourself a raised surface and put your block at the front of the mat. And then bring your elbows onto the block. Bring your elbows onto the block. And bring the palms together so you bring the hands up towards the ceiling. We're going to do a shoulder stretch. And the aim of this isn't to bring your chest to the floor. Don't think of pushing the chest down. Instead, try and keep the ribs in. Think of that action of slightly protracting the scapula like we did before. And then pull the hips back and open the angle of the shoulder. So instead of squeezing the shoulder blades together and pushing the chest towards the floor, think of pulling the ribs in, the stomach in, and pulling the hips back. So you create a long line from the elbows into the hips. And you should feel, stretching the lats. The lats are the big pulling muscle that pulls your arm down by your side, that adducts the arms. And it stops you flexing the shoulder to, its full 180 degrees. And if you're only doing any kind of arms over the head inversions, which is really handstand and forearm balance, you really need to be able to flex the shoulders to 180 degrees. You can do it without doing that, but it's much harder. You'll find that you need more strength. Could hold it another 2 more breaths. Good, last breath through the nose. Good, and then come back up, move the block out of the way, and cross the ankles and sit the hips down. So you're sitting on the floor. And then roll onto your back, so the lower back's on the floor. Have the knees bent and the feet flat. Bring your hands by your thighs, lift the chest up, and then lift your feet up off the floor. Okay, we're going to do a half boat. And I want you to keep the lower back on the floor. Okay, keep the lower back on the floor. And you can start to extend the legs. If you find as you extend the legs, your lower back lifts up or your spine arches. Keep the knees a bit bent or have the legs higher. So find a position where you feel maximum work in the abdomen. If the legs are straight, great. And lift the chest up, bring the arms alongside the body. You're going to hold it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then bend the knees, put the feet down. Bring the head to the floor. We're going to do that again. Okay, so the key to this, if your lower back doesn't reach the floor, it's okay. Make sure you're not arching it. Okay, make sure it's not arching too much. Okay, so your front of the body's holding up. Lift the feet up, hands by the thighs, get the chest up. Stay here is fine, or extend the legs a little bit. Extend the lever that your legs provide, and then hold it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, bring the feet down, bring the head to the floor. Okay, great, we're going to do it one more time, okay? Take a deep breath, lift the feet up, and lift the chest up, and then hold it there. Extend the legs, keep the knees bent. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you can, lift up to a boat, or bring the body down, then lift up to a boat, cross the ankles, and put the hands on the front of the mat, and step back to Chaturanga Dandasana, do Vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog. Good, exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look up and step or jump the feet forward in between the hands. Exhale, do a forward bend. Inhale, bend the knees, make a chair, do Uttanasana. Exhale, bring the hands to the floor, do a forward bend. Inhale, look up and step or jump the legs back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot, step forward, a big step to warrior one on the right side. Bend the right knee. Stretch the arms up, look at the thumbs. And then exhale, all the way down, bring the hands to the floor. Set the right leg back and do vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot, step forward, a big step to warrior one on the left side. Bend the left knee, stretch the arms up and look at the thumbs. And then exhale, all the way down to Chaturanga Dandasana. Bring the left leg back and bend the elbows. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then stand downward dog and breathe through the nose for 1. And out through the nose for 1. Inhale for 2. Exhale for 2. So catch your breath. And a nice slow breath through the nose. 3. Keep the breath, same regular even breath through the nose. 4. One more breath through the nose. 5. Inhale, look up and step or jump the feet forward in between the hands. Exhale, do a forward bend. Inhale, bend the knees, make a chair, do Uttanasana. Exhale, bring the hands to the floor for Uttanasana, do a forward bend. Inhale, look up and step or jump the legs back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot, step forward, a big step, warrior one, right side. Bend the right knee, stretch the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands to the floor. Step the right leg back, bend the elbows, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot, step forward, a big step to warrior one on the left side. Bend the left knee, stretch the arms up and breathe in together. Good. Exhale, bring the left leg, hands to the floor, bring the left leg back. Again, do a vinyasa, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Good. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then put your knees down on the floor in downward dog. And bring your forearms down. And this time when you make sure your elbows aren't too wide, that's why I have the knees down so you can control it. Make sure the elbows are underneath the shoulders. And curl the toes, lift the knees up off the floor. And come to a forearm plank. Come to a forearm plank. It's a little bit easier in a forearm plank. We're just going to dip the shoulders forward. So bring the shoulders forward towards the wrists and then push them back again. Bring the shoulders forward towards the wrists and push them back again. Good. Push the shoulders forward and back. So your heels come forward to do it. 4 and back. Good. 5 and back. 6 and back. 7 and back. Good. 8 and back. Put your knees down. Come back onto your hands. Curl the toes. Push your hips back and up to downward facing dog. And then step your right foot forward. Big step outside of your right hand and put your left knee on the floor. Come to a lizard pose. Again, bring your forearms down. If your forearms reach, you can stay on your hands here. Forearms might not reach if your right leg is all the way forward because hips might be tight. So just get to where you get to in it and relax the head down and take a few breaths through the nose and out through the nose. So the entry into inversions requires flexible hips because to be able to get your hips above your shoulders, you need a certain amount of flexibility. It's what's easier with a certain amount of flexibility. You don't need it. Of course, you can do, things you can't even imagine. All right, come up to a spine up position and then flex your right foot, extend the right leg and do a reverse lunge. If you need to use blocks here, use blocks. Stay a bit higher up. Okay, if you find you can't get the legs straight, step here is fine. You don't have to go all the way down. Otherwise, walk your hands forward and stretch the crown of the head towards the big toe and hold it a few breaths through the nose. Good. And out through the nose. Keep the breath steady and even. Lengthen the crown of the head towards the big toe. Good. 2. Last breath through the nose. 1. Good. And then bring the left hand on the back of the head. And inhale, open the chest up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, bring the left elbow towards your right foot. Inhale, open the chest up towards the ceiling. So do some twisting. And exhale, left elbow towards the right big toe. Inhale, elbow up. Good. Exhale, elbow to toe. Inhale, elbow up. Good. Exhale, elbow to toe. Inhale, elbow up. Good. Exhale, elbow towards the toe. Good. And then put your hands back down and bring your right foot back. Curl the toes. Push your hips back and up to downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot forward. Big step outside of the left hand. Put the right knee on the floor. Again, bring your hands down or your forearms down, depending on how far you get in this. Drop your head down, relax the neck. Breathe by the nose and out through the nose. Go and take a few breaths in lizard pose. Pull in the abdominal wall. Try and keep it active, even if, of course, it's more relaxed. Even there's more of your body's on the floor. And whatever's on the floor is supporting you. So when there's more of you on the floor, gravity's easier to work against. But keep it active still. Keep the stomach sucked in. Use the bandhas. Well, keep your awareness on the bandhas. One more breath. Good, and then push yourself back up and straighten your left leg. Flex your left foot and come to reverse lunge. 5 breaths. Flex the foot and stretch the crown of the head towards the big toe. That's the direction. Contract the thigh and breathe through the nose and out through the nose. Good, nice slow breath. Flex the foot and lengthen the spine forward. So you feel a big stretch in the hamstring. Again, how deep, how intense that stretch is up to you. You don't have to make it the most intense stretch you've ever felt. Just make sure your hamstrings feel a little bit more movable than they did half a minute ago. Last breath. Good, and then bring your right hand on the back of the head. Inhale, open the elbow up. Exhale, bring the elbow towards the left big toe. Inhale, open the elbow up. Exhale, elbow to the big toe. Inhale, open the elbow up. Good, exhale, elbow towards the big toe. Inhale, open the elbow up. 4, exhale, elbow to big toe. 1 more, inhale, open the elbow up. It's a thoracic twist. And exhale, elbow to big toe. Good, and then put your hands back down. Bring your left foot back so you're in all fours position. Come to all fours position. And make sure when you're in all fours, you're not arching the spine. So don't think of it as a cow position. I want it more like a, neutral position. So ribs in, stomach in, and lift your right leg up in the air, or extend the leg. I'm going to do just a leg lift. So touch your toes to the floor, and then extend the leg, lift the leg up. Touch the toes to the floor, and extend the leg and lift it up. So you squeeze the glute. 3, it's a hip extension. 4, so contract the glute. 5, keep the legs straight. 6, keep the legs straight. 7, keep the legs straight. 8, 9, 10. And then put the knee down on the floor. Notice when I'm doing this, it's not a spine movement. I'm not making the spine move. I'm trying to keep the hips, pelvis tucked and the stomach in, the ribs in. So do it 10 times. 1, 2, 3. Squeeze the glute at the top. You should feel it. 4, that the glute's engaged. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good. 10. All right. Then put the knee down on the floor. And again, bring your forearms down. So your elbows are shoulders width. You can always measure the distance if you like to do that. You can wrap your fingers around the triceps so you're not going too wide with the elbows. Bring the hands forward and then curl the toes and lift the knees up. Come to a dolphin pose and lift your right leg up. Lift your right leg up and push up through the shoulders. And you're going to hold dolphin. It's option 1. You're going to stay like this, holding dolphin pose, which is the setup for Pincha Mayurasana. And it can be enough for you. If this is enough, you're going to hold it like this. If not, you can try and do little, hops like this. Remember the top leg, like we did that, leg lift exercise. Keep that leg really strong like that. Keep extending the hip. So you're going to get the power from the top leg, and it's going to pull you over, but without bending it like this. Keep it nice and straight. Keep it nice and straight. And as you do little hops like this, you find maybe you feel a bit lighter, and you can stay a bit higher up. You can stay floating. Good. 2, 1. Good. And then stop around. Bring the right leg down. Lift the left leg up. If you can balance. So if you have a wall, of course, you can kick against the wall. But think of this as a way of building strength of it. Think of this as a way. So keep the top leg extended. Again, little hops. And squeeze the glute. So think of the top leg as driving you up. The top leg pulling you up. And then push through the shoulders. And keep lifting the leg up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Put the left foot down. Put the knees down. Sit the hips on the heels. Just allow the shoulders to stretch. Keep the arms out in front of you. Bring the head to the floor. Take a breath through the nose. Good. Then come back to all fours position. Curl the toes and sit your hips back into a little squat. Sit your hips back into a little squat. We're going to practice another variation of Pincha Mayurasana. Okay, and to do that first, we're going to do an arm balance. And it's a crow pose, but it's like a half crow, half forearm crow. And you'll see. So you put the left hand on the floor and your right forearm on the floor. Okay? Don't worry whether you balance it or not. Lift the hips up nice and high. And try and put the left knee on the left elbow and the right knee to the right armpit and lean forward and lift the feet up. And try and balance there. Pull everything in and up. And just play with it. If you fall out of it, splat, just try again. Lift the knees up high. Pull the heels up. Suck the stomach muscles in. One more breath. Okay, bring the feet back down. Come back down to a little squat. Okay, you can interlace the fingers and roll the wrists out a little bit. If your wrists feel sensitive doing it. I'm going to try the other side. Put your left forearm down. Put your right hand down. Go knee in the back of the armpit. Knee in the back of the elbow. Lean forward and push. That's so you've got to push your left forearm. And so you can feel how using the scapula, the shoulder blade, make sure it's not squeezing in. Try and protract it. The action we did at the beginning. Good. 2. Pulling the stomach muscles. Hold it. 1. Good. Bring the feet back down. Come down to a little squat. Good. And then put your hands on the floor. Curl the toes. Push your hips back on up. And come to downward facing dog. Inhale, look up. And step or jump the feet forward in between the hands. Exhale, do a forward bend. Bend the knees, make a chair. And straighten the legs. Bring the arms down. Then turn to the side and take a big step out. Bring the arms out. Turn the toes in. Put the hands on the hips. Inhale, take a backward bend. And then exhale, come forward. Bring the body down. Bring the body down. Put your hands on the floor. Put the hands in between the heels so the shoulders width apart. Inhale, stretch the spine forward. And exhale, bring the crown of the head towards the floor. Now, if your head reaches the floor and you like to practice headstand, you can go ahead, of course. The reason I'm doing Prasarita now like this is to give your upper body a bit of a rest. So feel free not to do headstand. Feel free to stay in Prasarita, just to give your upper body a bit of a rest. Pull the shoulders up away from the ears. Roll the weight forward to the toes. Contract the thighs and just allow the legs to stretch a bit more. And breathe. One more breath. And if you're in a headstand, bring the legs back down. Inhale, look up. Exhale, put your hands on your hips. Inhale, come all the way up. Come backward bend. Bring the arms down by your side. Bring the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, take a backward bend. And exhale, come forward and bring the body down. Bring the arms forward. Relax the neck down. And come to a second variation Prasarita. This time allow the shoulders to stretch. Relax the head down, bring the arms forward. Contract the thigh muscles. And breathe through the nose. Good. Slow the breath down. Pull the quads up. Pull the stomach muscles in and up. One more breath. Good. And then inhale, come all the way up. Take a backward bend. Bring the arms down. Good. Bring the feet back together. Come to the top. You can start with the feet together. Bring the arms over the head. Look at the thumbs. Bring the hands to the floor either side of the feet. Inhale, look up. And step or jump the legs back. Do Vinyasa Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then put your knees on the floor again. Okay, we're going to try that variation of Pincha Mayurasana. Right forearm down, left hand down. Okay? So some people call it funky pincha, which I think is a terrible name. So we're going to call it, half and half pincha. Curl the toes and lift the knees up. And in fact, really all you're going to do to start with is just lift your left leg up and hold it there. Okay, because this is a good way of building strength. And you don't have to do anything more than this and stay here 5 breaths. If you're feeling a bit more confident, you can do again little hops to start, or if you can balance it, you try and push through the forearm and join the legs together. Okay, you have to use a lot more strength through one side, which is why it's good to build strength with it by just having the foot on the floor. And keep lifting the leg up. Good. 2. Last breath through the nose. 1. Bring your left foot down. Bring your knees down. And then swap it around. Bring your left forearm forward. Bring your right hand in line with your left elbow. Again, shoulders width apart. Curl the toes. Lift the knees up. And come to a half forearm, half hand, dog. And then lift your left leg up. So your right leg up, bad teach. Lift your right leg up. And then point the toes up and hold it there. Again, stay here. 5 breaths or do little hops and notice that, maybe one side feels less stable than the other. It's really normal to have one shoulder that's less stable, one shoulder that's stronger, one shoulder that's a bit funky, not funky pincher. Good. 3, 2, 1. Good. Put your right foot down on the floor. Bring the knees down. Bring the hips on the heels. Again, come to a child's pose. Take a breath. Drop the head down. Good. And then come back up to all fours position. And walk your hands forward. We're going to do it's called puppy pose a lot of the time. Walk the hands forward and bring your head to the floor. So it's a bit like the stretch we did before. This time you try and make a back bend. If you can bring your head to the floor, bring the chin to the floor. You can bring the chin to the floor, bring the chest to the floor. Come to a, shoulder opening, thoracic spine bending position. And hold it wherever you get to. Doesn't matter how low you get the chest or the head or whatever it might be. Instead, just breathe. One more breath. And then push yourself back up. Walk the hands back in. Sit the hips on the heels. And bring your right arm out in front of you. And bring your right, it's like you're about to do eagle. But instead of doing eagle, pull the arm across the body. I'll face this way so you can see. Instead of wrapping the arms, pull the arm across the body. And stretch the side of the deltoids. And hold it. Just about 5 breaths. Stretching your shoulders, you might think, well, if you sit down all day, you get tight shoulders. It's important to do stuff like pincher because it strengthens your shoulders, strengthens the whole shoulder girdle. And it doesn't matter if you can lift the legs off the floor and balance it. Just doing the preparation for it and doing all the exercises you need to be able to do it will be a really good thing to do for your shoulders. And then do the other side. Bring the right arm across. And again, like you're about to do eagle instead. This is a classic stretch that you'll see people in the gym do. Stretch the right deltoid and hold it. And strengthen your shoulders in lots of different angles of movement. And not just one directional. And so inversions are really good for that because they provide an unstable weight. Your body's usually unstable. Good. Hold it another 3 breaths. 2, 1. Good. And then bring the arms behind the back. If you can, bring the hands into reverse prayer position like this. Okay, if that really is not nice, you can bring the fists together like this and open the front of the chest. Or if that doesn't work at all, you can just grab the elbows behind the back like this and hold it 5 breaths. Stretch across the front of the chest. If your hand's in a prayer position, you think of trying to push the hands further and further up the spine until you can grab the back of your neck. Good. 2 more breaths. Last breath through the nose. Good. And then bring the arms out from behind your back. Shake the arms out. And you're done. It's half an hour, 30 minutes. So thanks for practicing. Keep doing it. Keep trying it. If you can't balance, don't worry. You just try your best and do it a few times so you build strength over time. Thanks for coming. Thanks for practicing. We'll see you next time.